Hello, and welcome back to the Bullpen Banter. I'm your host, Sam Cleveland, and this is a podcast where we talk everything baseball. Today, I have two special guests in my podcast, my friend Quinn Burgess and professional baseball player Scott McGough. So, Scott, what was your favorite team to play for in your professional career?
I think my favorite team to play for was probably the Tokyo Yakult Swallows. I had a really good time in Japan, and all the Japanese people were really good to me, so that was quite an experience.
Sweet. In Japan, did they for your team? I know that they do like a lot of crazy stunts, like during the game and like before the game. Did they do that for your team?
Yes. A lot of different. It's a lot different from America. So yeah, there's a different style of mascots, and they do all sorts of in between inning fun and games.
All right. So when you played in Japan, were there a lot of high pressure situations you had to deal with?
Oh, of course. My team was pretty good for a couple of years, and we were fortunate enough to play in the championship over there 2 different times. So that was quite a pressure situation.
When you go into those high pressure situations, do you do something like I know Trevor Bauer, before he pitches, he focuses on a pebble, and then once he focuses, he's like ready to go. And like, do you do something like that?
Yeah, that's we kind of call that finding our focal point. So I think everybody kind of has their own unique spot that they find. Most guys usually use like the foul pole or something like that. I usually try to find something at every different field that we play at that I can find, kind of center yourself focused, and then you kind of lock in and ready to go.
Yeah, I understand. I do that when I catch. I just breathe in and get ready, and yeah.
That's perfect.
So I got a question for you. So how do you deal with criticism from the fans?
I don't look at it. I mean, you hear it, especially like, being in the big leagues and stuff. It's hard not to watch SportsCenter or different, shows on ESPN. But yeah, I really just try to stay away from all the numbers and what people say. I don't really give it any fuel or anything like that. So I just know if I do my job, then let everything happen that happens,
Gotcha. Yeah.
Do you do the same thing when you're like really hot and like you're doing like really good? Like you just try to stay humble and not let it get to you?
Yeah, good or bad, I really don't look at stuff. I really don't listen to stuff. I just kind of try to isolate myself, and it's hard to sometimes because the media will be in the locker rooms and they'll ask you questions. But yeah, it's one of those things that I've learned throughout my career, just kind of staying away from the press as much as you can.
Yeah, I've learned from one of my baseball coaches is just like stay at like even and like not let the game like eat you up, I guess. And I've used that.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't want.
I've used that for
you don't
all
want it to
the
speed
other
up on
sports,
you.
too.
So along with your professional career, what would you say your favorite moment is?
Favorite moment is probably playing in the Olympics. I had the fortunate opportunity to play for Team USA back in the 2020 Olympics, even though it was in 2021.
Right.
But that was a pretty special thing that I've done in my baseball career. And unfortunately, we didn't win the gold. We won the silver, but that was still a pretty special moment.
Nice.
So when you're pitching, you face a lot of you're in the MLB and you face a lot of like professional hitters. Who was the hardest hitter you ever faced in your career?
Ooh, there's some good ones. It's hard to kind of put your finger on just one, but yeah, I think Freddie Freeman is probably the guy, in my opinion, that has the best all-around approach hitting. He's really good. You can throw your best pitches. He still has a plan on how he's going to hit them, and he'll stay inside the ball, hit it the other way, hit a single if he wants to, but he also has that deep threat pop that you're kind of scared of. As a pitcher, you don't really want to give up the long ball, so he's a really tough out.
Yeah. I'm a Yankees fan, and during the World Series, every time he'd come up, because he was on that home run streak, I'd get a little nervous.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So have you gotten any bad injuries that have taken you out for probably more than a month or so?
Yeah, I had Tommy John surgery in 2014, so that took me out for about a year, and that was definitely something hard to come back from. But, now it's getting better and better, and they're doing it so often that the rehab process, the protocol is just pretty incredible. So I came back throwing harder.
Yeah. When you got injured for like that long, like how was your like mental state? Like, did you get like depressed, or you just try to stay like positive through it?
Yeah, not really. I think that was the goal going into it is I just told myself take it day by day and, just get better and use the time rather than kind of being upset and the injury happened and it can play and I'm missing all this stuff. So I just kind of took it like as the approach of like, okay, I got a year off. Let me get bigger and stronger and faster. And that was kind of my mentality going into it.
Yeah.
Do you have any superstitions or routines that you do pregame or for every game you go into?
Not so much. I mean, definitely routine. I wouldn't call them superstitions. Some people may, but yeah, always kind of shower 30 minutes before game, get my stuff on. I always take, my weighted balls out to the bullpen and, just kind of stay in that same routine every day.
So as a relief pitcher, how do you like prepare like once those innings start to get into the later innings? How do you prepare that knowing that you might get called in at any moment?
Yeah, it's just watching the game, observing how the game's going. I try to watch hitters and see, how they're swinging, how they're doing it. If they're swinging early in the count, they're swinging late in the count, and then just kind of mentally like approach it when I'm in the bullpen that way.
Yeah.
So to kind of go on to that, what pitch would you say you would rely on the most in like a high pressure moment?
Definitely my splitter. My splitter is kind of my best pitch. I learned it while I was over in Japan, and it got so much better.
I know like now they're starting to use the splitters a lot more. Like they use like pitches to like mask the splitter so they don't know like where it is. Do you have a pitch like that with your splitter?
Yeah, we call it tunneling. And I try to tunnel my fastball. So I'll throw a fastball down and I'll just tunnel the splitter off that fastball down. And usually you can get some pretty good swing and misses when you do that. Doesn't always work like that, but that's what we try to do.
Yeah. So as a pitcher, and you have to have a good bond with your catcher. Do you have any catchers that you particularly like the most, or?
Yeah, definitely. I think that relationship's super important. I always try to, make that relationship tight because, they're the one that's really calling the game for you and supporting you and thinking for you and all that stuff. So I always just try to really focus on that. And I think some of the best ones I've had are JT Realmuto. I've had Jeff Mathis, Tucker Barnhart. I've had some really good ones along the way that have been pretty helpful in my success.
As an like joining the Olympics, you're not like really with the team that long. How do you like get like good bonds with your teammates and like really quick?
Yeah, it's kind of hard because you need some time, but the good part about the Olympics is you guys live together. So everybody's in Olympic Village, so you're kind of hanging out 24/7. And so you can kind of build that bond a lot quicker that way.
So kind of jumping back, what was the feeling like the first time you stepped onto a Major League Baseball field? And like just kind of describe that.
Yeah, I think I blacked out because I don't really remember much. But yeah, I just remember being on the mound after my warm-up pitches and then the infielders throwing the ball around and D. Gordon came up and he was just like, have fun, dog, and that was kind of his deal. And it helped me kind of calm down and focus on, hey, I need to get 3 outs here.
Nice.
So when you went to Japan to play baseball, what was the biggest decision that motivated you to go play there?
I think it was just the opportunity. I was open to a new experience like that. I've always heard a lot of good things coming from guys that played in Japan. So it was kind of, why not? And my wife was cool with it, and she was down for the experience, which was really helpful. And, the kind of the money they throw around too is hard to pass up. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me to just kind of experience the culture over there, get a new look, a different style of baseball. And I went over with the mindset of like, hey, try to learn some stuff and get better and come back to the big leagues, and it worked.
So kind of along with the culture in Japan, how do you think that kind of was shown in like the fans, and like how did that compare to the States?
It's way different. Like the fans over there are super nice. There's really only like one stadium where they kind of talk crap. But yeah, other than that, like everyone's super nice. I remember blowing a save my first year, and I walked to and from the field. So there's thousands of fans outside the stadium, and I blew the save, and I'm kind of, bummed out. I'm walking home, and everyone's clapping for me and like, next, you're okay, and I'm like, wow, this is way different than America.
Yeah. So I heard a lot of things about like baseball in Japan and how it's like really like tough, and like you have to, like, I heard a lot of things about like high school baseball. Did any of that like happen to you? Like,
No, not so much in the big leagues over there. I know high school, it's pretty hardcore. Yeah, they kind of say it's like military style where they shave their heads, and you're doing all this running and disciplined work. But yeah, nothing in the big leagues over there. It's pretty normal.
all right. Yeah. I would have been surprised if it was like that.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to like younger players, like trying to make it like to the big leagues or dream of playing there?
Yeah, I mean, my advice is just like work hard. Every time goes by fast. So, you think you're a sophomore in high school and you got plenty of time till colleges are looking at you. And then the same thing in college. You're like, oh, I'm here to be here for 3-4 years. But the time just goes by fast. So just don't miss a day. Keep working hard. And yeah.
So you've been playing baseball for a while, and the pitch clock is kind of a new rule. Did you have to like change any of like anything you do like pre-pitch or no?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the pitch clock changed it up a lot. I like the pitch clock, but it's definitely makes it a little bit more difficult, especially when stuff is unraveling and you're giving up some hits and crap's kind of hitting the fan. It's harder to find like a second, catch a breath, find your focal point and really focus on like the task at hand. But that just comes over time, and I feel like I've been able to kind of understand what I need to do, how to work pitch to pitch, and it's really helpful with the catchers having the intercom system now where they can just press the buttons and it just speeds it up a little bit faster, which helps because you don't have as much time.
With that pitch com thing you just mentioned, did you ever have any instances like where people would steal your signs and?
Oh yeah, that's a common thing. Minor leagues, big leagues, no matter where you are, Japan. Yeah, oh yeah, they're always trying to steal signs. They're always trying to steal pitches at second base. Yeah, absolutely. That's huge in baseball.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to like your experience in the major league, is there any like particular game or pitch or teammate or anything that kind of stands out in your memory?
I mean, yeah, like one. I mean, you're talking about specifically in the major leagues?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the run we made a couple years ago to make it to the World Series, that was a pretty insane thing, and I was able to be a part of it, and that was probably like the thing I remember most about major leagues. Just the run we went on. We were expected to finish second to last, and we were able to make that run and go all the way to the World Series.
All right. Nice.
So, like, when playoffs hit, do you and your teammates have, like, a different view on the league? Like, because it's, like, kind of like a fresh start, like, once you make the playoffs? Is that, like, how you guys viewed it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, it's a whole new ball game. You just got to get to the playoffs and then get hot. And that's kind of what happened in 2023 with us.
So, I'm a catcher right now for my varsity team. Do you have any tips on like how to like control pitchers and like calm them down if like they're giving up runs or anything?
Yeah, I think the important part is like as a catcher, you need to learn the pitcher's kind of mentality.
Yeah.
You know, because like some guys need a pat on the butt and a pat on the back. Some guys need you to fire them up, you know. So I think it's just kind of reading their mentality, see their disposition, if they're calm or if they're a fired up guy, and you just, you know, can go when you go out for your mound visits, you can go out accordingly.
All right. Thank you for talking to us today. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Next week on the Bullpen Banter, we'll be talking about the week's recap, and you can follow us on YouTube at CHS Studio. Thank you for listening.